At 11 p.m. in the Washington IT sector, the day shift is long over, but the work never stops. Despite the late hours, local companies provide no transportation for the employees living nearby, forcing them to navigate the night alone. This map illustrates the spatial reality of their commute. On one side, you have the brightly lit corporate sector. On the other, the residential zones. Between them lies a dark, unmonitored distance, known as the vulnerability corridor. A solitary footstep echoes behind her. Under a flickering streetlight, a massive shadow suddenly detaches from the darkness. She runs. The institutional decision to cut transportation costs creates this recurring geography of fear, turning a standard nightly walk home into a high-stakes survival scenario for every woman on the shift. A pattern begins to emerge across the sector. Multiple women report a silent figure tracking their movements through the darkest stretches of the corridor. The reports reach company managers, who finally pass the collective alarm to the police. The area already carries a grim reputation. Just weeks prior, 3 young men were found brutally murdered in this exact zone, and investigators have been unable to identify a single suspect. The combination of 3 unsolved homicides and a new, persistent stalker suggests a clear profile. To the authorities, an active predator is now openly hunting in the corridor. Police treat the corridor as a kill box. They stage a sting operation, positioning a plainclothes decoy on the route while an armed tactical unit hides in the shadows, waiting for the shadow to appear. The figure appears behind the decoy. Police ambush him with blinding flashlights, shouting commands, but he immediately sprints away in panic. In the chaos of the chase, officers assume he's an armed killer. Fearing he reaches for a weapon, they open fire, striking him repeatedly. The immense pressure to resolve the triple homicide led to a lethal conclusion. The suspect was neutralized before he could even be identified. Under the hospital lights, the profile of the hardened killer evaporates. The man lying in the ICU is a frail 60-year-old father currently clinging to life after the police-inflicted wounds. When he regains consciousness, his first words are an indictment. He tells the officers that his presence in the corridor was a direct result of their failure to protect his daughter. His records reveal a timeline of neglect. His daughter was fatally assaulted a year ago. The investigation quickly went cold. Those 3 murdered men were the attackers police never found. He used her descriptions to track and execute them himself. A fatal realization settles on the officers. Their bullets have stopped the only person who successfully navigated their stalled investigation and removed a proven threat from the streets. The old man details his nightly operational protocol, a silent, long-distance escort for workers crossing the corridor. He intended to serve as a shield against the violence that had claimed his own daughter. But the damage from the police gunfire is simply irreversible. As his story concludes, his breathing slows, and he eventually succumbs to his injuries in the hospital bed. When his hand finally goes limp, it releases a weathered photograph. It shows his daughter, smiling, the final motivation for his nightly patrols. Grief had transformed a broken father into a sacrificial protector, filling the void left by a system that had failed him. Inside the precinct, the narrative of a successful sting operation rapidly collapses. The officers who once celebrated a capture now face an incident report identifying their target as the community's sole protector, leaving the department in a heavy, inescapable, and absolute silence. For the women of the IT sector, the perception of the dark corridor undergoes a jarring transformation. They now recognize the shadow that haunted their commute as a guardian who took bullets to ensure their safety. This tragedy reveals a very harsh institutional disconnect. Formal systems fail to see justice, and our sharp instincts for survival blind us to profound, invisible grace.